Thank you. Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah, we've got some thumbs up. Well, thanks for having me. Hello, everyone. For those of you I don't know, my name is Hannah Walker, and I help brands of all shapes and sizes find success on Reddit. But today, we're here to talk about belief. Specifically, how do brands earn it in an era of AI? AI is shaping how we search, choose, and trust. And this is a perspective around how the future of search, social, won't just be machine-led, it'll be human-shaped. Technology has always evolved to serve human connection, and marketers have always been at the forefront, helping it become understandable and trusted. The internet didn't earn belief overnight. It took storytelling and relevance to feel credible. And if we look back at how technology has evolved over the last 70 years, marketers have had to grapple with new technology and new ways to talk to their consumers consistently. When we went from radio to TV, suddenly brands could be heard and seen. Brands like OXO tapped into true broadcast media, becoming a household name. In the 80s, CRM was born. Brands like British Airways used it to create personalization at scale. And then as time went on, so was the birth of social media. Reddit is actually 20 years old this year. So is Facebook, and that was when MySpace was born, and community marketing was born. Brands like Heineken really bought into this and tapped into fandom around football. And now brands have to be across smart TVs, speakers, watches. They're really expected to tap seamlessly into the everyday lives of consumers. So at every stage, it's marketers that help drive mass adoption of technology. Just as we had to change our messaging from mobile to social, AI demands that we rethink discovery. So AI is the newest tool in our toolkit, but it faces fundamental challenges in belief. Belief that the output that it is getting is worthy of making a final decision on. And ultimately, how consumers believe in the output of generative AI will fundamentally impact the effect it has on our industry and the campaigns that use it. Take this example from Coca-Cola last year. They were one of the first brands to publicly say that they use 100% AI to create their Holiday Magic campaign. This sparked backlash. Why? Because it created a deeper discussion around, can machines truly create holiday magic and human emotion? It also sparked greater fears around our industry, around creativity being machine-led, but also, is AI coming for our jobs? This is leading to a paradox where adoption of AI in consumers' daily lives is growing exponentially, but belief in the output isn't keeping up with that. And in fact, in a study that we did alongside WPP, we found that 70% of people in the UK admit to using AI in their daily lives, but they are concerned about the lack of regulation. And then 40% of people are worried about misinformation coming through. So this is leading into a trust gap in search, social, and AI. With the rise of AI-generated content and deep fakes, people are questioning what they see on the internet and questioning its authenticity. Did you know there are now deep fake influencers out there across all platforms making thousands of, these are jobs that traditionally humans used to do, but computers are now taking its place. So in this search for trust, people are looking for more validation. And when they look for more validation, they're coming to Reddit. Last year, we had 23 billion hits come through from Google for people needing a deeper validation from the AI summaries and the answers that they were finding. Search used to be the final step, and now it's just the first step for deeper validation. And social search has grown hugely over the last few years. But there still is questions around the authenticity, around the content that they're seeing. Influencer fatigue is a real thing. But luckily, platforms like Reddit, where the community offer under a pseudonym, they're not paid to say things. They say them because they are genuinely passionate about a subject and they want to share their true human experiences. It's leading to these posts being deemed as more truthful than others. So AI is fundamentally changing how brands are discovered, researched, and reviewed. Trust used to be built at the top of the funnel. Now it's built in the spaces in between touch points, in the nuance, in the conversation through the community. Because people trust people and not platforms. And I bet every marketer in this room, you've got one thing in common, that your consumers are humans. And humans trust humans. And that's just human nature. And it's even more valuable than branded websites. That's why every second, 100 people are adding Reddit onto the end of their search query. It could be, what are the best shoes to buy? What's the best SaaS platform for my business? I'm an entrepreneur, how do I get started? Append Reddit and you get the authentic answers from the community. So the future of discovery, of course, is going to be in AI, but belief in the output is going to need a human layer. And that is what we're referring to as the human algorithm. Because you can't have artificial intelligence without actual intelligence. And actual intelligence comes from humans. So I love this example around how generative AI cannot replace human intelligence. So this is a Redditor. They came to Reddit, in fact, r/whatisIt. They were in a bar in Berlin, and there was a huge concrete box in the ceiling. And they went to ChatGPT and they said, hey, ChatGPT, what is this box? Now, of course, ChatGPT did not have the answer. So they took to Reddit, and Redditors came back with the usual comical, insightful, helpful response. But what is most interesting for this presentation is that the Redditors were questioning, why did the original poster go to ChatGPT in the first place? Because clearly they don't understand how large language models work. They're only as good as the data that is training them. And they questioned that, in fact, ChatGPT can come up with a great answer, and it did, a confident answer, but it can be wrong. So that's where Reddit comes in. The community can validate, challenge, correct, debate, and it's this human nuance which is incredibly valuable at changing real-world behavior. Because often you don't want just one answer to your question. You want a number of different perspectives. So it's the conversation that is the answer. So as AI is the engine, then it's conversation that is the fuel. And Reddit has 22 billion posts and comments from our 20-year history. These are around every single subject you can imagine. I'm sure you all use Reddit in very different ways, from sport to business to fashion to finance. This is incredibly valuable data for large language models to train off of, because it gives that human experience, that nuance that machines just simply cannot create on their own. And posts on Reddit live forever. Very different to other platforms where you're part of the hype cycle, you trend up and you disappear. The average post on Reddit gets views for 6 months. And of those posts, 57% of them mention brands. Reddit is just a reflection of natural human conversation. And we love talking about brands, what to buy, what products are good, experiences around that. And Reddit really reflects that. So it's never been more important for Redditors to be talking about your brands, to be talking about them positively, because this is the data that not only is showing up in Google as SEO, but it's showing up in large language models results. And so now you can start thinking about how Reddit plays into that strategy. Because search is no longer linear, it's a flywheel. And it starts with community intelligence. This is the collective intelligence from 400 million weekly users on Reddit and growing. This intelligence is feeding the LLMs, coming up with the AI summaries that we see on Google and elsewhere, and it's bringing people back into Reddit for that deeper validation that we spoke about. And of course, we as a business are integrating AI into our platform too. So for those of you who use Reddit, I definitely recommend check out Reddit Answers. It has recently launched in the US and the UK. This is our own search functionality, bringing that power of community intelligence and bringing it even more easily searched through large language models. So you can search for your question, find all of the conversations about that from Reddit, and dive back in and join the conversation yourself. But the second one, which is my favorite, is machine learning translation. We've recently translated Reddit into 13 different languages, including Hindi, Portuguese, Spanish. So people in these markets can now have the exact same experience as you or I speaking English in those countries. So a German Swiftie can go onto r/Taylor Swift, write a post in German, I would read it in English, respond in English, and they would read it in German. So people are coming to Reddit to discover, to validate, and to act. I recently had a meeting with a client, and Accenture called out in a report to them that Reddit was the key platform for consideration, because 71% of people who found a brand or product online come to Reddit to research it before they buy it. 71%. And I know it features heavily in my path to purchase as well, just like my path to purchase, the Peloton Tread, pictured here. The community comes back with such in-depth reviews and perspectives. It's incredibly helpful making those decisions. But how can brands get involved in this new era? How can you tap into the community to help shape what's showing up in search and LLMs? So in a wonderful example that I'm incredibly proud to say won 3 Cannes Lion awards 2 weeks ago, 2 golds and a silver, is from Skoda. So they took our absolute Reddit best practice, was before they started, they listened. They came to Reddit and they listened to the community, specifically r/Car Talk UK. If any of you are in the market for a car, highly recommend this is your first port of call. So they listened, and what they found was that Redditors, when referring to the Skoda Octavia, they were calling it our Lord and Savior, organically, without any prompting. So Leah Burnett, the creative agency in Skoda, they took this insight and they ran with it. They invited r/Car Talk UK to be the first people to have access to the new Skoda Octavia. They test drived it. They created content from those test drives and came back and ran Ask Me Anythings within the community. So the community could go and ask questions from real people. How was the car? How did it drive? And all the other things that they care about. They used quotes from these AMAs in all of their out-of-home and their other digital display. But they didn't stop there. They wanted to create a Redditor edit, an edit of the car that could be bought specifically by this community. And they allowed users to upvote their favorite specs, and they turned it into this wonderful green model here that you can see. So not only did this smash the media benchmarks, the sales benchmarks that Skoda set for the campaign, the reason I show you for this presentation is that when I went onto ChatGPT and I searched the best family car in the UK, it was the Skoda Octavia that came up first. Now, Reddit isn't the only source of training data, of course, but it shows that when you harness the power of community and get them to be your influence and spread the word, this not only helps with awareness amongst that community, but it helps with the awareness amongst LLMs too. So how can brands get involved in this new era? So I already mentioned, number one, come to Reddit, listen to the community. They're often telling you something about your competitor, your brand, or your product that you hadn't considered. When you speak to them as humans and use that conversation in your campaigns. Because these conversations are the new SEO. They are the new influence. And when you combine artificial intelligence with human intelligence, you won't just earn attention, you'll earn belief. So technology will continue to evolve, but belief will always need a human layer. And we believe that the future is community-powered intelligence. So if you want to join the conversation more, I am Hannah. I've got some of my team here, and we'd love to chat more about this topic. Thank you.